Today on New Challenger, Phil Kollar, Max Scoville, and I know everything about E3. Everything. Today's episode of New Challenger is brought to you by Jack Threads. Welcome to the show, I'm Anthony, and you know, you guys, E3 is practically moments away, and with all the news and rumors swirling around, it's hard to keep up with what is expected at this year's expo, but never fear, I've got Polygon's Phil Kollar and Destructoid's Max Scoville here in the studio with me, and we're going to answer all your questions, including the fakey troll ones that you sent in. Hello,
guys. Those are the
guys.
best questions.
Those are the only questions worth answering.
We want to answer the dumb questions.
This is, I think, the best opening question ever by Tony Johns. What company's conference are you most excited for, and why?
Well, I'm going to go with Nintendo.
Really?
I'm pretty much always the most excited for Nintendo because I'm a little bit of a fanboy. But the main reason is that this year I think they have the most to prove and the most to gain because they announced new hardware last year, but this year they're actually going to be showing us all the software. You know, they have nothing announced for Wii. It's all going to be Wii U this year, and they have very little announced for 3DS. So this is their chance. This is Nintendo's big chance to blow us away.
I don't know that they're gonna do it.
Oh, it's Nintendo. It's Nintendo, so I'm used to them disappointing me.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm most excited to see what they do, and like I think there's potential for them to really, you know, blow it out of the park.
They do. They're the scrappy underdog this year. I love the way these things go in these cycles where everybody is the scrappy underdog one year. It's great. What about you, Max?
I think I'm probably going to wind up liking Nintendo's the best because I've been paying so little attention to them and because I have such low expectations.
You've been going back and forth on this all week. Like 2 days ago, you thought Sony was going to be your thing.
I know Sony is the thing that I'm most looking forward to.
Okay.
But I have a feeling that Nintendo's going to surprise me the most. Sony, I'm just dying to hear about some Vita games. And I just hope that Hideo Kojima walks out and says something, but I don't know if he's going to do that.
I mean, he will. He'll probably say something. It might not be anything important.
I hope he just comes out and like shows us some of his vacation photos or something. You know? He took a picture of a seagull once, and I was like, man, he was stoked on that seagull.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Loves that
but
shit.
Yeah, so Sony, that should be good.
No matter who you ask this question, nobody says Microsoft this year. Nobody says, because nobody's like, okay, I get it, yeah, HBO,
well,
cool. I have that on my TV already.
Connect.
They announced they're doing a new Gears of War.
Yeah.
They're always going to do a new Gears of War.
Care.
Can we still care about that? Is that all right?
Halo 4, they'll show some Halo 4 stuff.
So we're most excited for Nintendo, I guess, here. I'm on the fence about that. But so a lot of people have been asking, what is missing from the lineup that we haven't heard about yet? Specifically, are we going to see F-Zero? Are we going to see Star Fox? Are we going to see Metroid?
God,
Up until a day ago, we thought we were going to see Star Fox and Metroid in one.
I was going to say, all three of those together in a single game seems to be...
Why not?
Yeah, that seems to be what
That game is called Smash Brothers.
Oh, I guess so.
I would be really stoked on a 3DS Metroid game.
Yeah.
That maybe return to the side-scrolling, you know.
I was talking back and forth with somebody on Twitter the other day about how I would love a way-forward 2D Metroid game.
Yep, that would be really awesome.
And then, but maybe it's for the 3DS, so maybe it's just like 3D parallax scrolling, and
That's
then
what I
WayForward
want.
draws it.
That's all we want.
I think going back to that rumor we heard about, hopefully what we'll see from Nintendo is whatever's Retro is working on. Like,
yeah.
We haven't heard from them since, Metroid Prime 3, which was a while ago?
Yeah.
Or no, I guess Donkey Kong Country Returns, but theoretically...
I feel like they put 4 guys on that, though. I feel like the rest of them were working on whatever this big secret thing is, and the other 4 were like, well, if you don't have anything to do, it's like when you work at a movie theater and they tell you if you have time to lean, you have time to clean. Like, if you're not working on the new Metroid, just do something with Donkey Kong.
I've never worked at a movie theater, but I like that. I like that.
That applies to coffee shops, too.
Yeah,
there you go. I think everybody's heard that at one point. Well, we have 2 more Nintendo-focused questions here. The first one, Aliens Colonial Marines, Assassin's Creed 3, GTA 5. Are we going to see Wii U stuff for it that's going to blow us away? What are going to be the Wii U features for these games?
For games that are multi-platform, I think any Wii U exclusive features they have are going to be pretty minor, and they might be kind of cool, but like I don't think they're gonna blow us away.
Yeah, they're not gonna rewrite entire gameplay systems just to take advantage of this thing.
I think it'll be like for example, I know with Darksiders 2, they were talking about, for the Wii U version, you'll be able to play around with your inventory on the
I
thing.
feel like that's what we're going to see for
cool.
90% of games.
Or like you get a
are
map,
on both.
you'll get
Yeah.
an in-game map.
It's taking the DS and they're making it into a console.
Yeah.
A lot of companies they don't want to do anything too drastic with like the accelerometer or the cameras or anything like that. They just kind of are like, let's use that bottom screen for non-intrusive gameplay elements, and I could see that very much being a pattern with the Wii U tablet.
If you're a big company and you've got to make a game that's got to make X amount of dollars, and here you've got this like these features that will only work on one system, well, why would you put all your money into that? That's why we only see things like Cake Mania on the Wii and like weird little mini game stuff, and then
Science Papa.
Science Papa was excellent, but I don't feel like it's groundbreaking in terms of gameplay.
No.
And you can do Science Papa on the other consoles, I
I mean,
think.
you're my Science Papa.
Science Papa really was the closest we're going to see to a Breaking Bad game.
What if Science Papa 2 was a Breaking Bad game?
That would be pretty cool.
Like how they put Katy Perry in The Sims. What if they just put Walter White into Science Papa?
Yeah.
E3 2012, Science Papa Breaking Bad edition.
Serious business.
This was just left cryptically on my Twitter about the Nintendo. Talk about Reggie. Can we please talk about Reggie Fils-Aimé?
He's going to be there. I mean, if we want to really dig into it,
Yeah.
the reason that I said that Nintendo is the one I'm most excited about is Reggie. I mean, like, every year the chance to see him, chance to be in the same room as him,
Yeah.
it really energizes me and gets me ready to survive the rest of the year.
Somehow I think
Gets you Reggie.
Gets me Reggie.
his face I think is the size of a human torso.
Yeah, the man is a fist.
He's just like a giant angry
Let's
fist.
get Reggie to rumble. Actually, little fun fact, on Destructoid, on the forums, when you first sign up, you're labeled as fresh meat, and your avatar is by default a steak that has Reggie's eyes and mouth on it.
That fits so well. I'm
man is
picturing it
made of
right
meat.
now, and it's no different than my mental picture of him already was.
Reggie Fils-Aimé.
There you go.
You're just full of these.
This is not Nintendo related. We're moving away from that. Metal Gear Solid 5 is going to be at E3. Going to be current generation, next generation. Metal Gear Solid 5.
They've got to get Revengeance out first.
I don't think we're going to see anything until Revengeance is on shelves.
I hope we see Revengeance. I hope we see more of that at E3 and finally start to get a sense of what that game is.
It's going to be a janky, silly mess is what it's going to be. I can't wait.
Platinum's on it now, right? So maybe it'll be
They're on it now.
now. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm really excited about Revengeance. I have, like, if it's possible to be really excited about your low expectations,
Yep,
that's kind of
sure
what's going
is.
on. Watch
sure there's a
that.
word
Just
for
go
that.
back and watch that trailer again because it's really, really bad. It's a really bad trailer.
Take them out, Ryan.
Roger that. Let's have some fun.
I mean, if you look at the track record for Metal Gear games, it's typically like one per generation, with the exception of 3.
Yeah.
So Metal Gear Solid 5 could be a thing they're working on for down the road.
Yeah. I feel like we're not going to see it until next year at least.
It's probably just going to release an actual Metal Gear.
But maybe we will see that new Zone of Enders now that they've confirmed that it's in the works.
But they showed. I mean, they were talking about how early on it was in the process and how they were just kind of like making models right now and scanning them in and figuring out how robots look.
I'd just like you to know I'm also working on a Zone of the Enders game.
Oh, wow.
I'm just building Gundams at home and drawing stuff on paper. So
I'm
It's
excited to
almost
see that.
exactly
it's
the same
pretty early
development
in
process.
development. You know, that's
And then 3 years later, you can just hand off all your Gundams in a box to the guys at Platinum.
yeah.
And they can finish them for you. Painting the little details is super hard. Aside from the big franchises, Color Ninja wants to know, what do you want to see? What kind of under the radar stuff are you looking forward to?
I'm really excited. I think this is normally something that, or at least a few years ago, wouldn't have gone under the radar, but now kind of is. Whatever Konami has in store for Castlevania. I know we saw the Castlevania for 3DS,
Yeah.
Lords of Shadow 3DS, and there's been a lot of rumors about an actual console.
About a real Castlevania game, maybe?
Well, a console sequel to Lords of Shadow, which I would love.
Really?
I like Lords of Shadow a lot.
Lords of Shadow, I would have liked if they had not called it Castlevania, because
Which they didn't originally.
yeah, exactly. It was just one of those games where they were like, well, here's a thing that we have that people recognize. We'll just put that right there.
To be fair,
It was
it's
like
not
a
like
Guardian, it was like
Castlevania
a
was
Guardian
doing.
of Light thing.
It's not like the Castlevania series was doing anything else, really. Like they weren't
been.
doing anything with it.
They're just letting it languish. Lords of Shadow is fine. There's nothing wrong with Lords of Shadow.
Do you want to fight about Lords of Shadow?
I kind of want to fight you about Lords of
All right,
Shadow
let's
right
fight.
now. The movie Van Helsing is more Castlevania than Lords of
You
Shadow.
like Van Helsing?
I'm not saying I like it. I'm just saying it's more Castlevania.
You're gonna come out on the show and admit that you like Van Helsing?
How do you feel about Van Helsing, Max? Now you can be part of the argument.
I was actually just thinking yesterday how cool it would be to see a Van Helsing remake where Van Helsing is just a professional wrestler and everything else is Victorian, and he's just going around and he just goes up to a castle and he's like, Wolfman, get out here! I'm gonna fight you! And he just fights, you know.
I feel like this is a perfect time to mention that now that we've answered all of your serious questions, we got a lot of nonsense from you too. And in just a moment, we're going to discuss all of your fake E3 predictions is the way I'm going to say it this time, very, very seriously. But first, an important message from the future of men's fashion. You know, only suckers pay full price. If you love alternative apparel brands, but you hate wasting all your cash on them, then listen up. I'm pounding my desk. You can score these premium brands at up to 80% off every day. There is an invite-only shopping club called Jack Threads, serving up street, skate, and surfwear brands at prices that will melt your brain. There is a waitlist to join, but if you head to jackthreads.com/challenger, you'll get instant access to all of the killer hookups. Did we mention that it is totally free to join? I'm using the royal we now. That's how I refer to myself. Hit up jackthreads.com/challenger and you'll instantly start saving without having to leave the house. Okay, so we asked you for all of your E3 questions and predictions, no matter how silly or trollish. I actually like these ones the best. These were my favorite questions that we got. So here we go, rapid fire style. Portal MMO, pretend it's real, go. I heard the level designer went insane and is now living in an insane asylum and just masturbating all the time, and he had to get a lobotomy because it's so hard to design Portal levels for 57 people.
I heard it's just like it's like a no clip mode. The entire world is just no clip, so you just fall through everything.
The whole thing
constantly.
is portals.
It's
Brilliant.
just the surfaces, you know, it's just and you just falling through space.
Just log in and fall immediately through.
Exactly.
Just start tumbling through.
It's just you fall while Stephen Merchant says snarky things to you.
I think the possibilities
and
of
50
trolling in a Portal MMO are really, really good.
just catch somebody in like one of those loops.
Yeah.
Nintendo announces iOS development. First titles, Mario and Zelda.
God, I just want that so bad.
I mean,
It would be so smart. It would be so smart because guess what? Mario is the most famous video game ever made. If they released it for 99 cents on the App Store, they would make a lot of money very, very quickly because everyone has an iPhone and everyone knows who Mario is. And there are a lot of people who...
I think this is the last generation we're really going to see dedicated handhelds. I really do.
Oh, yeah,
I know
no,
this was
yeah.
kind of just like a silly trolly thing that guy was saying, but this is it. You're not going to see another DS after this. That's stupid. You started a serious discussion, you troll.
How dare you?
How dare you? The final game for the PS Move is Shake Weight.
I mean, as long as it is the final game, as long as we're getting done with the PS Move, then all right, sure, whatever. I have always wanted to get trophies for my time with Shake Weight.
I've always wanted to get a trophy for physical activity, but I've always thought that was never going to happen, and I'm probably right.
I would love to see a game where you have to combine the move and you have to use the Wii Balance board as a shield and it's like a sword and really I think it would just be PCP.
You know what
and
that
you just
game
take
is
the
gonna
plastic
be?
toys and go outside and hit
I was going to
stuff.
say, what that's going to be is after all of these things fail, we're just going to put them on and fight in parking lots. God of War 4 canceled. God of War 5 out in November. Well, you know, development on God of War 4 was, it was rocky. It was tumultuous. At the same time, that scrappy ragtag team that had just finished up Donkey Kong Returns had nothing to do. They came to Sony and they said, look, we got an idea. God of War carts.
You know, this I like that. I like that
Good,
idea.
that's good.
Chariots of War.
Yeah. They took the old Diddy Kong racing engine that they never released, and they made God of War 5, and it's a racing game.
That would be great.
He's a young, angry teenager racing Greek gods for pink slips.
Around Dead Man's Curve to win the love of a lady or something.
Soundtrack by Jan and Dean and the Beach Boys.
Perfect.
New Star Wars game is announced. It's Boba Fett Golf.
So
First day purchase.
I absolutely
I hate
believe
golf.
I absolutely believe that whatever LucasArts is going to announce inevitably has to disappoint me. So like I completely believe that's what it is.
I don't think it would disappoint
Red
me.
Tails, the game for Kinect.
I'll play whatever they put Star Wars on.
Right.
But it doesn't mean I'm going to feel good about it. It doesn't mean I'm not going to hate myself afterwards.
I think a cool game would be one where you play as George Lucas and how you see the world. and your enemies are fans, and you
it
just have to
keeps-
go about
it
your
just-
daily.
The more people love you, what you have to do is you have to walk through a convention hall unscathed. And the more people love you that touch you, the more bitter your outlook becomes, and the more horrible your creative output is.
It's like Katamari.
New SEGA console, Dreamcast HD.
Whoa.
SEGA should never make another console.
I appreciate all the people who love the Dreamcast and
Yeah.
want Sega to come back to the console game, but like, just look at what Sega is these days. Like, they're not
It's
the
not
same
good.
Sega.
It's not good.
You don't really want that.
What I want is I want for it to be $19.99, and I want all of you guys to just go out and buy Dreamcasts so it never fails, and we live in an alternate timeline. Do you have any final E3 predictions that you feel the people need to know right now, Phil Kollar?
I mean, I think that this year, the number of deaths at the convention going to be down
Sure.
compared to last year.
Sure.
Because it just
They
there's
removed
not,
the asbestos.
Yeah.
And the swinging, the blade pendulums are gone.
The blade pendulums, like that was a cool thing to get people excited.
It was a sweet kind of a piece of Dark Souls marketing, but I
Yeah,
felt like
but
it
it
was
was-
misplaced.
They still have the escalators though, which are deadly.
That's true. They're confusing. And
Yeah, I mean, 4 people
fall-
died from escalators alone last year, so.
I fall and get hurt on those things all the time.
Yeah.
It's like I try and go that they're moving already, and
Yeah,
it's hard to.
and sometimes you don't know which way it's supposed to be going.
Max, is there anything that you want people to know about E3?
Watch our coverage.
Yeah, we
'Cause
do
ours
have a
is
lot
the
of
good-
coverage
the
coming
best
up.
Coverage. Ours is the only good coverage.
Phil is going to be covering it for Polygon. He also writes some excellent reviews over there. That's at theverge.com/gaming.
Verge.com/gaming, and we're gonna have better coverage than you guys. I'd just like to point that out.
What are you gonna do? Write articles
You
or something?
son of a bitch! Max is going to be hosting the Destructoid show over at youtube.com/dtoid. And also, we've been doing a ton of great, probably better than Polygon pre-E3 coverage all week here on Rev3 Games. So be sure to check that out. That's youtube.com/Rev3Games or revision3.com/games. And then next week, I feel like now it's just our personal goal to just cover E3 better than Phil does.
Yeah.
That's what I was here for. Is I wanted to motivate you guys.
Let's just push them onto the escalators.
We needed a common
die.
We needed a common enemy. We needed a common cause to rally against, like in
Phil,
the
we're gonna
Avengers
kill
movie.
you.
I'm gonna take off, guys. I'm gonna.
Subscribe next week for E3 and also for graphic scenes of Phil Kollar's death. I didn't even know this did this.
That was impressive.
Maybe it didn't do this and I'm just really strong, you guys.
Maybe you just
Maybe
broke
you were
this.
asleep the
Maybe
whole
I
time.
do get a trophy for physical activity, Phil. Look.
I'm gonna be.